Hello everybody, my name is Troy Dawson. I am the founder and lead designer of Casual Penguins. I'm here to talk about, let's go back a little bit, how to open source a shirt. I'm wearing one of the said open source shirts. Why did I do this? I have been a lover of Hawaiian shirts my entire life. From when I was 20, I was wearing Hawaiian shirts, 30s, wearing like 40, 50, and now I'm dating myself. But one thing about this one, I did have hair at one. I did have hair at one point. So the other thing is, I've been making operating systems since about 2001. Meaning making them, I like to scrunch them together and make them things. So I started with Fermi Linux. Me and Connie C started Scientific Linux. Your Linux is probably something you've never heard of, because after doing it for 2 years, I had one user. But you might recognize the logo. That's the one thing I got from that. I currently work for Red Hat, and I make CentOS Stream, and I have the emerging RHEL team, so I don't make all the RHEL things, but I did build every beta package for RHEL 8. I like to say that. Okay, but this is why I like to open source things. Once I started doing open source with Linux and the Fermilab where I happened to be working, everything we did went out to the public. I really loved it. And at some point, we'll talk about why, I started open sourcing them. We'll start with the Linux Penguin. This has the license of the Creative Commons attributions, which means I can license it or do with it what I want, as long as I do the attributions. And as you saw my logo, and as you see on this shirt, I put a Hawaiian shirt on it. I've been wanting to do that for like 15 years, and I finally had the excuse to do it. And when I did it, well, I put the same license on. I sort of had to, but I also wanted to. And then, where's my mouse? There's the mouse. And then, as you can see from the penguins over here, I started doing different designs on the penguin, and then colors on the penguins. And that's sort of where the name Casual Penguins come from. Some people always ask why is there an S, because I made a lot of them. Now, my brother, at the time that I was making all these things, he was making what he called Arizona shirts. Let's just call them Hawaiian shirts with cactuses and roadrunners on them. But they're Hawaiian shirts, and he had a graphic artist, and he says, hey, let me make you one. And he made this initial design and made me a shirt. Wait, you guys haven't even seen mine. Okay. He made me a shirt. This is the original shirt. It is about 10 years old. It's getting faded because I wear it quite a bit, so I made myself a new one. This is what it actually looked like. Nice and purple and bright. I like purple. So this is what my brother made me, and I was like, that's cool. I love it. And then I would wear it to conferences, and people would say, hey, where can I get one? And I says, you can't, my brother made this for me. Oh no, and my mouse is going crazy. Where are you, mouse? There you are. So, say what you will about KDE, I love the wiggle of the mouse and the thing gets bigger. Okay, just go to the next one. There we are. So, like I said, his designer made these for me, and I had several penguins with lots of different shirt styles on them, and I started making patterns to go on shirts. And these things I also open sourced, but there's a problem with this particular one, is that his designer made it. These ones I made them myself. It was easy for me to open source them. I always use the Creative Commons attribution, even though it's hard to say. So for this one, I went to his designer and I says, look, can I buy this design from you? And he said, sure. So I bought it from him, and then I open sourced it, and I attributed him along with all the other things. So it is possible to, even though somebody else did it, open source a graphic. Now, as we move on, there's two things I'm going to talk about. This is a design. If you start getting into the fashion world, then there's actually somebody in here that is in the fashion world. This is a design, this is a pattern. The design is the graphic. The pattern is, you go to the store, you buy a McCall's pattern, and it's got the tissue paper stuff, and that's all I'm going to do out because tissue paper rips really easy. This is a pattern. So as I talk around the thing, that's what I'm going to be talking about when I say designs and patterns, and if I mess it up, somebody call me out on it, because I don't say it's that important, but it makes more sense for the narrative here. Okay, making patterns. Now I go down to the store, I buy the McCall's pattern. Great, can I just scan it in and put it up on the internet and call it mine? No, I cannot. I have to make my own. And I don't know how many, well, okay, one of you in here does know this, but proprietary pattern making things, oh, you're into fashion also? Proprietary pattern making programs are expensive. Sometimes it costs $10,000 for a seat for a year, just 1 year. You don't own the program, that's the license. It's really expensive. I wasn't going to go down that route. Now there is actually some open source things. Valentina is the oldest open source one. I'll be honest, I've never done the expensive one, so I don't know how to compare them. Seamly is a fork of it. When I was doing these, I was like, okay, I can open source them. I realized I am terrible at making patterns. I will never be some dressmaker or something like that because my mind does not work that way. I can sew them. Okay, come on. There we are. There's actually some reasonably priced stuff. Clo is one I found. It does 3D stuff so that you can see the pattern and see what it looks like on the things. Even with that, I'm not very good at it. I apologize. So, just like there, you can pay somebody to make your pattern for you. Now, I did this. This is the route I took. It cost me $2,000, which was more expensive than I expected. It wasn't necessarily the work making the pattern. It was, somebody sewed the shirts for me and all that. This is actually one of their shirts that they sewed. I'm not going to tell you the differences because I don't want you to compare mine to theirs. I feel like I'm a really good sewer at this point. Anyway, but it costs about $2,000. It could be $3,000, $5,000, but what it did give me was the ability to, let's hold this up, it's not McCall's, take my pattern, which I paid for, and put it up on the internet, and it's for men's and women's, extra small through 3X, and put it up on the internet and say, hey, this is mine, I'm giving it this attribution, this license. So paying for it, you can do that. Most people don't want to do that because they want to sell it. I don't really want to sell it. I figure other people want it. Now, there's one other option that I haven't told you about because I didn't know about it, but I wish I had. Freesewing.org, I hope that came up. Yes. It's a crazy logo. It used to be very prominent on the site, and it's slowly gotten smaller, but it's still fun. Now, this is a guy that saw the same thing as the Valentina thing. He said, hey, you know what? It's crazy expensive for these things. There's got to be a cheaper way. Why don't I put things up there? And he made it even better than what I ever imagined. So he's built a community. It used to be small. It's now really huge. You can get shirts, skirts, pants, underwear, swimsuits, onesies, and plushies and all sorts of things, whatever people want to put up, whatever they want. And it's not just the patterns, it's you go in there, so we're going to use a shirt as an example. This is the Simon shirt. You go in there and say, okay, I've picked it. One nice thing, it says the difficulty of it. But then you do your measurements. It's not just a one-size-fits-all. You say, this is my measurement here, this is my measurement here, this is my arm, this is, all your measurements. And then that is custom done for you. And then options, plackets, these, just having the button things, there's 3 different ways of doing this, and that's one of the options. I think I got that word right. Sorry. And then printouts, all sorts of options. They know some people don't have a printer, so this is how you print it out on pieces of paper, and you can tape it together and cut it. Or I did one and made it 36 inches wide, which is what the local copy place could do, and I did a printout that way. It's really slick. Anyway, let me just do one thing about this. freesewing.org, I'm not affiliated with it. Like I said, it was too late for me. I already had my patterns. Go to it, use it, donate to it. Not only just money, but help them out. Do your own pattern. It's a great way to share things. Okay, this is back to my life. After enough people came to me and says, I want your shirts, I says, okay, I'll try a Kickstarter campaign. And this is how I really learned more about the fashion industry. I don't really want to go down that route other than saying, I learned a lot. It's crazy. One of the fun things is there is no set size. This.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's not just U.S. sizes versus European sizes, because they are actually different. But what the size of the thing is, the most important person in the company, it must fit them in the size that they say they wear. I wear 2XL. These 2XLs fit me, and the place that was doing the patterns for me, that's what they said. And for the women's, it was I gave them a shirt, and then they did it all. And my wife says, no, I wear I'm going to say medium. I wear a medium. This says it's a large. Therefore, all my sizes went down. And it was because the shirt I had given them was a European-based shirt. Which, anyway, that was the fun thing. One of the fun things I learned about this Kickstarter. As you saw at 4,000, I needed 15,000. I needed 15,000 because of the minimum things. For fabric, you got to have a minimum for. It was going to try and be as much U.S. based as possible. I was this place in Chicago. I had to have a minimum of 125 shirts men, 125 shirts women. Anyway, it didn't happen. That was sort of long for saying I'm not going to go into this, isn't it? Okay, so after the Kickstarter, what did I do? Let's do it myself. I already knew how to sew shirts because I was, whenever I found Hawaiian shirts, Hawaiian fabric, I would make shirts for myself. But they were, well, look, they were McCall's, they were okay, they were adequate. But I needed a serger. Those of you know, you need to serge these inner things. I needed a better thing. Anyway, in short, I practiced and practiced and got better and better until I felt good enough to actually sell them on my own. And like I said, the one I'm wearing is one of them. Wait. Nobody said hold up red shirt and pink shirt. Red shirt.
Hey, pink shirt.
Pink shirt. And you know what? She's actually not wearing a pink shirt. She's wearing a purple shirt. But it's got pink flowers on it. Red shirt and pink shirt. Okay, why is that important? Because look at this red shirt, and then look at this red shirt. Oh, come on, come on. Oh, there will be technical difficulties, if there can be technical difficulties.
You're drawing.
I'm drawing.
Yeah, you're leaving lines.
You silly thing. There we are. So, okay. Oops, wrong shirt. It says hold up blue shirt. Okay, until I felt I was technically able to do shirts. And this is one of the first ones that I felt I was technically able to do it. I was using a blue shirt. Okay, now, quick. Don't draw. You drew. We're gonna run off things. Okay.
Can you say what kind of better, Bernina was my sister-in-law, she makes up just so incredible. What's a good sewing machine nowadays?
I got a Genome. Bernina is still one of the top of the lines. My sister swears by them. What's your favorite sewing machine? Or is that not what your question was? What was your question?
Do you need help?
No. I always act like this at all my presentations. It's just my energy. I have too much of it.
Well, you gotta hold like 3 shirts up, so.
Well, I'm just going to hold these 2 up.
What was your point about the reds though? Because they're different
Oh,
red?
yeah.
Yeah.
That was my second question.
Always
Thank
get
you.
a sample of your prints. These were given the exact same things. This was done by Spoonflower. This was done by a South Korean place.
I
And
like the Spoonflower.
yeah, and as you can see,
It's brighter.
they're much different. And actually, Spoonflower also changes depending on the fabric. You should always get a fabric. Oh, thank you, whoever. The QR code's up there, and somebody's already favorited it. But yeah, get a sample. And that's why I wanted to hold up the 2 things, and not just a sample of on one fabric. Get it on the sample on the fabric that you want, because this one isn't bad, but I've been told it's brown, and oh well.
White shirt. Says
White shirt, hold up white shirt, thank you. Actually, I do need help. I need somebody to read that and say, what should I hold up? So I started doing different designs. These were not on the Kickstarter. And red shirt, then white shirt. So I started doing different designs. This is the fabric I got from South Korea. Nice fabric, but like you said, the red isn't the red that I thought. But I started doing them just from Spoonflower, because I can buy Spoonflower. I can get up, you can do a quarter yard, or what's a fat yard, a fat quarter, whatever you call it. Whereas South Korea had a minimum of 300 yards. So we started doing Etsy. I didn't want to sell them myself because I don't want to deal with the security of dealing with credit cards and people's payments. And I'm willing to pay Etsy, let them take a chunk of my profits. Okay. What do we got next? Oh, the next thing people always ask me about is, what about the shirt I wore yesterday? Those of you who saw me, it had a fedora on it.
Andy Jones?
Yeah, so what about things with proprietary logos on them? Can I open source those? And the answer is not really. It depends on the logo. The penguin, that's not a big penguin. The Linux penguin has the license I talked about before. The Fedora logo has, I have to ask permission from the Fedora Council, and they had to go through Red Hat Legal. I'm a Red Hat employee. It made it extra complicated. It took me a year and a half to be able to sell these. 2 of these guys, there's one of them's me. Basically, I had to give those shirts to those guys because I couldn't sell them. The OpenSUSE, I had to do the same thing. I do not work with Open Source. I haven't made myself a shirt. But it took a week, and they apologized for it taking so long. Anyway, I can sell the shirts with the things. Each logo is going to be different. Man, if you try Disney, good luck with that.
Yeah.
But I like doing the open source things. I cannot put these up with my GitHub with my other things, and I apologize, but that's just the way licenses go. So, what do we have? Let's conclude up here. Man, this is just anyway. Conclude. I have open source shirts as well as I can. I've taken the designs, open source them, except for where there's trademarks and I have to not put them open sourced. I've taken the patterns. I've bought the patterns. I put them in a form that people can digest them, put them up with the right license. And I put links to where to buy the fabric. Anyway, I enjoy doing this. I thank you guys for coming. And we have questions and answers and penguins to give away. We have a question right at the front.